some of the issues that have been raised regarding this purported directive that was signed by the Commissioner General of KRA and the Managing Director of Kenya Ports Authority, that all cargo for delivery to Nairobi and the hinterland shall be conveyed by the SGR and cleared at the inland container depot, and that all imported cargo only for Mombasa shall be cleared at the port of Mombasa, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just want to bring attention to the country. As per the figures from the National Treasury, the Railway Development Levy Fund, from the year 2013 to date, has collected 120.4 billion shillings. 120.4 billion shillings of Kenyans that has already passed. The effect of this, over and above the fact that the SGR is running as a commercial entity, over and above the fact that we as Kenyans are subsidizing through the Railway Development Fund, by shutting this out, I want to give facts and figures. The number of CFSs that are within the environments on Mombasa are 23. Out of these 23 CFSs, statistics that have been done show that 37,000 people, directly and indirectly, are employed by these CFSs. Currently, we have more than 10,000 fleet of trucks in this country, which means on average, from those who work in the offices to the truck drivers, that about 40,000 people have been employed. We're not even talking about those who are dealing in the spare parts and anything else. We now look at the clearing and forwarding companies that are now being told to shut down because of the fact that their clients are headquartered in Nairobi. All these clearing and forwarding companies will shut down with an employment base of thousands of Kenyans who reside within the county of Mombasa and other counties within the coastal region. Mr. Speaker, the economic impact on this does not tally and does not equal the measure that which the directive has been done by KPA and the Kenya Revenue Authority. Mr. Speaker, you know, it is important for Kenyans to realize that today we are looking at cargo. Tomorrow, if we let this go, nothing stops that the movement of people as well will be compelled to use the SGR. That means that tomorrow, even all the buses that are plying on these routes will be told to shut down. It is not an issue of inefficiency. As a matter of fact, facts and figures indicate that the inefficiency is more when it is used by SGR than the private transport companies. Facts and figures don't lie. The level of logistics that are available in Mombasa and what is available in terms of handling capacity is much more than what the inland container depot can be able to handle. And it is even much more than what Naivasha, Gilgil can be able to handle. So by saying that compulsory you are moving all this is something that is a bit wanting, Mr. Speaker. And I'm glad the mood of the House earlier on were supportive to my motion of adjournment, were supportive to the fact that the Speaker has ruled. As a matter of fact, I'm even glad that the Majority Chief Whip, Leader of Majority, Leader of Minority, my fellow colleagues are all in agreement. And I think this needs to be a wake-up call that hopefully, by the time Thursday comes, he will come with a statement saying that they made an error and they're backtracking on that decision. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Hata mimi pia nasimama kuunga hoja hii ambayo imetolewa na mbunge mwenzangu wa kutoka kule Mvita kuzungumzia mambo ya uchukuzi wa shehena ama makasha katika bandari yetu ya poti ya Mombasa. Ni jambo ambalo litaweza kuathiri uchumi haswa wa sehemu ya Mombasa, Pwani na hata Kenya kwa jumla. Sisi tunazungumzia kujenga ajira na agizo hili linazungumzia kumaliza ajira zilioko hivi sasa. Tunajua mambo ya uchukuzi yameweza kujenga ajira kwa vijana wengi sana.
We live in a country that has a liberalized free economy where you choose, as long as the businesses you do are legal and how you do it is within the law, you cannot be forced to do how certain people want. What is coming now is that very soon the members of parliament will be asked to use X computer system, whatever computer system, to come to parliament. Don't go to restaurant A, go to restaurant B, because of businesses maybe belonging to influential people. We must say the truth. When Kenya overborrowed and the taxes that were used to construct the SGR, which is 4 times the cost of what the Ethiopian government has contracted, which is electronic and much faster than what we have, Kenyans were not consulted on what means of transport they want from the port. It is unfortunate that today we are discussing restriction of movement of our goods by government and bureaucrats. This House must rise up and say no to some of the things that's happening. We want this House to go a length higher to ensure that this kind of monkey business that government brings from the back door, whether it's through this transport system or any other, that we must be now awake, stop the issue of this party and that party and handshake, and stand up for Kenyans.
On transport system, there are people with loans of lorries they brought because they knew transport system between Mombasa and other parts of this country is a booming business. There are so many people who are employed by this transport system. But we cannot kill this transport system. We cannot deny Kenyans an opportunity of employment simply because we want to pay loans that we borrowed without considering where we will get the money to pay those loans from. This House must arise and say no to forceful transportation and any type of business, because we are in a liberalized country, Honorable Speaker. We cannot be coerced by anybody to use any means of transport that some of these players have interest in. I support the Honorable Member from Vita, and this House must stand and be counted that we support Kenyans. And we will stand with Kenyans, no matter what. Even if we belong to Jubilee or ODM, when it comes to Kenyans, it is Kenyans first.
I rise to support Honorable Nasir for this statement. Mr. Speaker, indeed, as my colleagues have averred, this is a very retrospective directive. Whoever gave this directive should come out clearly and tell Kenyans why he wants to take this country back to where we were before democracy set in. The transporters, which is a big business along the Mombasa-Nairobi road, they will have no business. As a result, many workers will be laid down. If SFSs are to close, Mr. Speaker, some regions are going to be economically grounded. Not only Mombasa, not only coast region, but these companies are all over this republic.
It appears this railway line was never thought of. It was done in a hurry. We don't know what it said. It was signed in a lot of secrecy. It is high time now, as leaders, we demand to know what were the contents of that agreement between the Chinese and the Kenyan government. Number two, if we are going to force everybody to transport through the railway line, it means all the towns all the way from Changamwe to Mlolongo are going to close down. How many Kenyans have been employed by this railway line apart from employing the Chinese? Because if we're insisting that all the goods will be transported through the railway line, it means all Kenyans working who are employed by these companies, transporters, including the dependents, and everybody who has a hotel on the road or a shop, are all of them going to close down because of one entity.
Mr. Speaker, I do support the motion that has been raised by my colleague, the Honourable Member for Mvita. I do realize that the point that has been raised is quite critical and important. Transport is one of the major earner of income for many families, and therefore monopolizing transportation is one thing that is really unacceptable. Whoever made that decision and however those decisions were made are quite wrong. And I stand here to reject their suggestion that only the SGR will be used as transportation.
Kenya ni nchi ambayo ni nchi huru, na kila mfanyibiashara ana haki ya kusema makasha yake anaweza yachukuliwe aidha na barabara ama vile kupitia SGR. Serikali ya Kenya lazima iweze kubalance. Kuja kwa mradi wa SGR isiwezeshe kufanya kuwa ndio makampuni yetu ambayo yako pale pwani yaweze kufa.
Practically, I would like to tell you that it is more expensive to transport a container from Mombasa to Nairobi using SGR. And this has made it difficult even for the users of the commodities, because looking at the economic implications, Mr. Speaker, 70% of the goods which come into Kenya are imported. And if they're imported and the cost of transportation goes high, then definitely it means the end user will have to cough more. Mr. Speaker, I agree and I congratulate my colleague, Honorable Sheriff Nasser, for coming up with such a move.
This is a statement that finds a lot of resonance with the Speaker and his sense of fairness and respect for choice. So I hope, as the Chair for Transport says, the Minister will have some good answers why he wants to take away Kenyans' choices in this particular matter.